Hey YouTube, this is Southern Purple One. I have a video for you, but before that, last night, about 11 o'clock, a little after 11, my son got a phone call from a friend of his that's a firefighter and also a volunteer firefighter, but he's a full-time firefighter. And he said the tones just dropped on multiple stations that we have a fire really close to us, because he recognized the address. So he gave Nate a heads up. Nate got me out of bed. I was in deep sleep, so it took me like a minute just to get going and get the clothes on, and we ran out of the house, drove right down the road, and there was definitely a structure fire, totally engulfed. Normally, that we know there was kids there normally, but luckily they were not there because of some situations that's sort of sad for the kids. But the house was a total loss. The pets, I believe, were total loss. Some dogs, some cats, a rabbit, I think. So pray for these 5 kids. Pray for this mom starting over. It's not going to be easy, but I did learn some stuff. If you've been following my channel, I was a volunteer fireman for 5 years, so I fought a lot of structure fires. But I want to talk to you again about having your own plan in case we go into a grid down environment, or maybe we go into an environment where budget cuts are so bad they have to cut engines, they got to cut people to balance their books, and you need to have your own plan. On the front of my page, there's a whole section on firefighting for preppers or homesteaders. You need to get a plan so you can fight your own fire. But I will cover that in another video of what happened yesterday. You're sort of frustrated because that fire is the king, and you can just watch it burn when you don't have equipment and pray there's no one in the house. But I'll talk about that in another video. What I want to talk about today is these 4 things, and there's probably more categories you can have under here. I want you to broaden your scope. So some people I know are just bushcrafters, which is awesome. Some people are survivalists, like the Cold War survivalists. They have a bunker, have a Geiger counter. A lot of these guys are dying off because the Cold War was a long time ago in the sense. Homesteaders and preppers. What you need to start doing, you might have looked at, hey, I'm a prepper. It's my hobby. It's what I like to do. But you need to change your whole outlook and say, this is not a hobby anymore. This is reality. Reality says that there's inflation. Reality says there has been shortages. Reality says there are people in this world that do not like us, do not like our lifestyle, do not like what we stand for, and would like to kill us. You need to get past that point of, these things are hobbies to me. This isn't a hobby. You need to prepare. The sooner you realize that and get serious about preparing, it doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. It is, you know what? It's not. It's a positive thing. I'm prepared for what comes to the best of my ability, and it can only be to your best ability. So do not look at someone and say, man, that guy's prepping. He's got a bunker. He's got this. He's got this. All I got is a rifle and a pistol and 3 months worth of food. You do first what you can do with your limited resources. And you do what makes you sleep at night. People keep saying, Dave, how much food do I need? How much ammo? When you lay your head on that pillow, if you feel that you are adequately prepared, then hopefully you are. Hopefully you're not fooling yourself. But if you lay your head on a pillow and say, man, I got to get more food. I got to get some water. I got to get some ammo. Then follow through with that. That could be just the natural instincts of people that want to survive. It could be the Holy Spirit saying, hey, you need to get off your butt. Quit watching cable TV and do some more prepping. Do some more preparing. We've lived in this society where you really don't have to have any friends because you can have friends on Facebook. You don't really have to have anything to self-sustain you because you work a job, you get a paycheck, and you can take that money and buy whatever you want with it. But if that job dries up, or if that fiat currency that you get, that you turn that check into, and normally it's not checks anymore, it's a direct deposit. You turn your work into some Federal Reserve notes that have some value, and you can go buy your needs, and hopefully there's leftover so you can buy your wants. But there's going to come a time when that fiat currency isn't there, and your job is not going to matter. And that's when the rubber is going to hit the road. I like history. I look back in history, and you can go anywhere in the world and you see tribes, you see villages, and what happens? They're always in conflict. They're in conflict with weather. They're in conflict with trying to raise enough food for their village. They're in conflict with other villages, and especially when things get short. A famine comes through, villages against villages, country against country. That is reality. We live in this reality that was created for us, that has skewed. We don't know how to provide for ourselves. We don't know that you put a seed in the ground, it grows, you harvest that, and you get yourself through the winter by putting food up. We don't know those skills anymore. And really, a 1 or 2 or 3 or 5% of us can do those skills. The bulk of the people don't. They don't care. They live in not reality. Reality says the world is cruel, the world is not fair, and sometimes it gets to where you have to take control of your own life in every aspect. You have to provide for yourself. So if you are any of these, what I'm trying to get at, if you're a prepper and you like to stockpile, that's all you do, you need to start becoming a homesteader. Resupply, planting, survivalist, Cold War with the nuclear war. You need to be able to protect yourself from fallout. Do I like talking about it? No, I'd rather be talking about something else. I like to talk about bushcraft, going out in the woods, setting up a primitive shelter. Especially with my little guys getting bigger, we're going to do more bushcraft because I want to teach them. I want to teach them skills, how to start a fire with flint and steel. I want to teach them how to make a shelter. I want to teach them how to make a Dakota fire pit. Things that are fun to do, and they love it. They soak it up. I wish our schools would do more bushcraft. Take kids out in the woods and teach them how to survive. Even in the military, the average infantry guy knows nothing about bushcraft. Absolutely nothing. You might get a little bit in Sears training, but the gist of it is if you threw those guys, infantry guys, out in the real world and you took away their logistical supply chain and you threw 2 chickens at them, they'd say, what are we going to do with this? We can't eat this. We need a Big Mac. We need an MRE. So I want you, if you're really comfortable with one of these, to survive what's coming, you need to be an expert in all of these. If you're not, maybe you can find a group of people and he might be an expert bushcrafter and you can learn from each other, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take you having a lot of skill sets. If you don't have all these skill sets, you better have people that have those skill sets. Your tribe, you better get it built, because what's coming could be normal people can't wrap your head around it. I can wrap my head around it a little bit more than the average person because I've been overseas and I have seen what people live like. I've seen the struggles people had to go through for basic necessities that we take for granted. Just one thing, chapstick. There's places that they love chapstick. Why? Because it's a dry environment and they like that. We take chapstick for granted. There's a lot of things that we take for granted that one day will be in short supply. So I'm trying to motivate you. If you're one of these items, awesome. You need to be all 4 of these items. So I love bushcraft because we could be thrown into a situation that, like the Ukrainians, 1 second they're living in their house, their apartments, life is normal, and in 2 weeks later, it's done. So thanks for watching.